Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hello everyone again, and my name is Harira, and today I'm going to present about the regression analysis. And to begin, the name of Allah is important because we are Muslims. The group members will be included, their names and their badges here. The first, Harira Abdi Fattah Muhammad, 5827. Abdirahman Hassan Hussein, 58, roll 12. Mahmoud Abdisalan Usman, 58, roll 18. Yahya Kaisa Hassan, 59, roll 15. Said Hassan Ali, 59 also, roll 16. Abdirahman Abdullahi Sabriya, 59, roll 17. Mahad Duran Ahmad, 59, roll 3. And today here we are going to present regression analysis. And the concept of regression. What? The concept of regression is a measure of the relationship between the mean value of one variable, example, output, and the corresponding value of other variables will be the time and the cost. And let's start. The regression analysis definition is a set of statistical processes for estimating the relationship between dependent variable, often called the outcome variable, and one or more independent variable, often called predicators, covariates, or features. The most common form of regression analysis is linear regression. The linear regression means the modeling the relationship between a scalar response and one or more explanatory variables, also called simple linear regression, in which a researcher finds the line or a more complex line combination. The more complex line will be the multiple linear. The most closely fits that the data according to the specific mathematical iteration. For example, the method of ordinary least square combines the unique line, the special line, or we call hyperplane. They minimize the sum of square distance between the true data and the data that we call hyperplane. Regression analysis is primarily used for two conceptual distinct purposes. First, regression analysis is widely used for predication that we call the predication independent, and forecasting, where its usage has substantial overlap. The important part with the field of machine learning. Second, in some situations, regression analysis can be used to interpret causal the deduce relating to the relationship between the independent and dependent variables. The independent variables, including the will be called predicators, and dependent is the outcome variables. Importantly, regression by themselves only reveals or shows the relationship between a dependent variable and the collection of independent variables in a fixed data set. The data set will be a set of information that composed of separate elements but can be manipulated as a unit. Thank you for listening. That's all.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Abdirahman Hassan Hussein. I am from 58 batch, roll number 12. My name is Abdirahman Hassan Hussein. I can explain the history of regression. History. Number 1, or the point 1, the earliest form of regression was method of least squares which was published by Legendre. By Legendre, for example, Legendre binomials are widely used in the determination of wave functional electrons in the orbits functions. Legendre established in 1805 by Gases in 1809. Legendre and the Gases both applied the method of problem of determination from astronomical, for example, adjective of relating or connected with astronomy, extremely large, exceeding by Greek astronomies. Observation orbits bodies by the sun, mostly comets, but also later the then newly discovered minor planets. Cases published further development for the theory. At least squared in 1821, including version of Gase's Markov theorem. The term regression was coined by Francis Galton in 19th century to describe biological and phenomenon. The phenomenon was that highest of descendants of tall ascendants of regress down toward normal average. Phenomenon also known as regression toward phenomenon. Regression method continue by area of active in recent decades. New methods have been developed for robust regression. For robust means statistics. Robust regression is a form of regression analysis designed to overcome some limitations or tradition arithmetic and non-arithmetic methods. Regression involving correlated responses such as time series and growth curves. Regression in which the predicator independent variable or response variables are curves, images, graphs, or other complex data objects. Regression methods accommodating various types of missing data. Non-arithmetic regression. Bayesian methods for regression in which predicator variables measures with errors. Regressions with more predicator variables. Observation and the causal inference with regression. Thank you all. Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Everyone, I hope everyone stay at home and be safe about coronavirus. Today, topic is regression model. Regression model involves the following components. There are 4 following components. First one is unknown parameters, often denoted as a scalar or factor. Second one is independent variable, which are observed in data and are often denoted as a vector. The independent variable. Third one is the independent variable which are observed in data and often denoted using the scalar. The last one is the error terms, which are not directly observed in data and are often denoted using the scalar. In the next topic is underlying assumptions. Underlying assumptions, there are some points. First one is by itself, regression is simple calculation using the data in order to interpret the output of regression as a meaningful statistical quantity that measures real-world relationships. Researchers often rely number of classical assumptions. These often include: the sample is representative of the population at large. The independent variables are measured with no error. Deviations from the model have an expected value of 0 conditional on covariates. And the last one is the variance of the residuals is a constant across observation, means homoscedasticity. The residuals are uncorrelated with one another mathematically. The variance covariance matrix of the error is diagonal. That's all about for me.
My name is Yahya Isa Hassan, batch 59, 415. My topic today is about regression. Again, linear regression is a linear approach to modeling the relationship between a scalar response or dependent variable and one or more explanatory variables or independent variables. The case of one explanatory variable is called simple linear regression. For more than one explanatory variable, the process is called multiple linear regression. This term is distinct from the multivariate linear regression, where multiple correlative variables are predicted rather than a single scalar variable. Also, in linear regression, the relationships are modeled using linear predictor functions. Was unknown. Model parameters are estimated from the data. Such models are called linear models. Most commonly, the combinational mean of the response given the values of the explanatory variables or predictors is assumed to be affine function of those values. Less commonly, the conditional median or some other quantity is used. Like all forms of regression analysis, linear regression focuses on the conditional probability distribution of the response given the values of the predictors rather than on the chosen probability distribution of all of those variables with the spectrum of the multivariate analysis. Also, linear regression was the first type of regression analysis to be studied rigorously and to be used extensively in the practical applications. This is because models with the depend linearly on their unknown parameters are easier to fit than models with the are non-linearly related to their parameters, and because the statistical properties of the resulting estimator are easier to determine. Nina, thank you all of them. Thank you.
My name is Saeed Hassan Ali. The rule number 16, the Pressentation, the linear recognition has a manual protocol uses the most application fall into one of the following two broad categories. If the goal is the production for the guesses or the error education, the linear regression can be used to fit the productive the model to an observed data set of value of the response and the explanatory value variable and located without the combined the response value of the fit. The model can be used to make the production of the response if the goal so explain the variation in the response a variable that can be attributed to the value in the variation into explanatory values. Linear regression analysis can be applied to quantity of the strength of the relationship between the response and the explanatory variable, and in the particular to determine whether some explanatory variable might.
Hello everyone, my name is Mahad, roll number 3. Now I will discuss topic about limit dependency variable. Limit dependency variable is a variable whose a range of possible values in restriction in some important way in economic. The term is often used when estimation of the relation between the limit dependent variable of interest and other variable requires methods to take this restriction in account. Limit dependent variable models including censoring, where for some individuals in data set some data are missing but other data are present. Truncation, where some individuals are systematically excluding from sub-observation. Discrete outcomes, such as binary decision or qualitative data restricted to a small number of categories. Discrete choice models may have either an order or order alternative. Order alternative may take the form of Kanti data or order rating response in other topic. Namely real equation. Namely real equation is a form of recognition analysis in which observational data are modeled by function in which a namely real combination of the model parameter and depending on one or more dependent variable, the data are fitted by the method of successive approximations. Thank you, sir.